you're doing well. My name is Katie and I was gonna say my normal intro and I make videos every single Wednesday, but since I'm on Christmas break, you're gonna be seeing like 3 videos a week probably. I was thinking about it and I have not done a more personal video in such a long time, and although I don't assume you guys are interested in me whatsoever, I just know that I personally like watching other booktubers and just YouTubers that I watch do FAQ videos and things like that. So I'm gonna be doing the 50 facts about me tag. So if you're a booktuber and you're watching this, please go ahead and do it. I'm sure you guys know what this is, but it's just 50 random facts. I'm gonna cover basic stuff like my age and my height and all of that stuff, and also have more random facts. At the end, I will have the most exciting fact, at least in my eyes, for right now with what's going on in my life. Obviously, this is a video, so if you want to just fast forward to hear that and then come back to the beginning, feel free. This is a lot of facts, so let's go ahead and get started. In terms of my background, I'm mainly German and Polish, but I also have a little bit of Irish and Scottish, so it's kind of no wonder that I can never tan. Number 2 is going to be really obvious for any of you who follow me particularly on Twitter or Instagram, but I'm a pizza obsessed, just fanatic, and I'm not a pizza snob. I'll eat fucking Little Caesars deep dish, I don't care, but my favorite nice style is really good authentic Chicago style pizza. And if you say you won't eat it because it's a casserole and it's not a real pizza, just unsubscribe. I know most people for a basic fact say where they're from, but I'm not from anywhere. Why do I keep doing air quotes? I've moved probably 9 times so far, so I'm just not really from anywhere. I've lived on West Coast, East Coast, down south, just everywhere. I don't know why I wrote this fact down to share with you all, but I'm super pear-shaped, so I'm smaller up top, but then everything I eat basically goes to my thighs and my butt. I have kind of wide hips. Why am I telling you guys this? So finding dresses and pants that fit without having to get them tailored is kind of impossible. A random feature I'm really attracted to on guys is if they have really big eyebrows. I've broken my arm 3 times, my arm twice, and then my collarbone once. I have my bachelor's degree in psychology with a minor in Spanish, and currently I have 1 more semester for my master's, which is in industrial and organizational psychology. I am the world's lightest sleeper, so for those of you who can just pass out immediately on a plane or in a car, you have no idea how lucky you are. If I have to sleep in the same room with someone who snores, I just won't. I'll go like 5 rooms away and sleep on the kitchen floor. I would honestly sleep better there, so I always have to sleep with kind of this tiny white noise machine. I think I've talked about this before, but I am terrified of cats. 2 times now I've lived with cats before, which in my mind doesn't make sense because I'm also allergic to cats. They were very nice, very friendly, but it's just an irrational fear of mine. I just feel like they pop out. I firmly believe that Lucius Malfoy is by far the most attractive person in the entirety of the Harry Potter series, more attractive than that actor who played what's his face. He's really attractive now. You know who I'm talking about. I really want to go urban exploring and just explore abandoned buildings, subway stations, all of that, but none of my friends want to go with me, and I'm not stupid. I'm not going to go and do that alone. So hopefully eventually I meet someone who wants to do that. I love all wine. I'm not a wine snob. You guys, I think, know this if you follow me on Twitter and Instagram, but I drink a lot of boxed wine, even if it's like that $9 oak leaf that they sell in Walmart. I'm partial to red instead of white. Some of my favorite kind of high quality TV shows are Westworld, A Game of Thrones, love all of those. Pretty much kind of anything on HBO. However, I also definitely appreciate some hardcore trash TV, so I'm obsessed with all of the Bravo Real Housewives shows, and out of all of those types of shows, Vanderpump Rules is probably my favorite. I've only ever had 1 boyfriend. I also think that unfortunately I'm a little bit of a commitment phobe, and I think the main reason for that is just that I've grown up moving so much, so it's like, why am I gonna be attached to someone if I'm gonna be moving in 6 months? I am currently 25 years old. This is probably going to be the most obvious fact, but I just felt it was necessary to have it in here, but I'm obsessed with anything horror related and anything that kind of can give me that rush of being scared. I think it all started because my parents love horror movies, and even when I was super little, like 4 or 5 years old, I would slowly creep down the stairs so they couldn't hear me, and then sit and watch all of the horror movies they would watch, creeping behind the couch, like The Exorcist, Aliens, like everything, and then at the end I would always pop out. In terms of siblings, I have 1 older brother, he's 29, and he has his master's in history. I have a miniature schnauzer who's quite old, he's 11, and unfortunately a lot of miniature schnauzers do tend to get diabetes, so due to that he's gone blind within the past year or so, but deep down I think my mom really enjoys the fact that now she has an excuse to push him around in a stroller when we go places. Studied abroad in Granada, Spain, and I think I actually have a whole vlog series up about that. And for a year in between undergrad and graduate school, I was an English teacher in Galicia, Spain, in a small city called Lugo. I I would say that when I was living in Spain, my Spanish got up to like a 7 or 8 out of 10. No, 8's being generous. It was like a 7 out of 10. And now it's definitely plummeted to like a 4 out of 10. I've been all over Spain, but I've never been to Latin America, which really upsets me. So if you have a recommendation for kind of the first country I should go to there, definitely let me know. I have scoliosis, which means my spine is curved, and you can kind of, I'm not gonna take my shirt off and show you my spine, but one thing I can show you is how much higher this collarbone is than this one. And if you do actually want me to do a video on scoliosis and all of that, I could happily do that, because if I had seen something like that growing up, it would definitely have helped me, because I wore a back brace for 6 years and I would always be sitting there like through puberty, not being able to bend over or do anything like that. So I just remember looking at my friends complaining about having braces on their teeth, and I just wanted to like bitch slap them and be like, you think that kind of brace is hard? Traveling to me is super important, and while I was teaching English in Spain, I was able to travel incredibly cheaply. For those of you who live in Europe, you have no idea how lucky you are to be able to go on like a 50 euro round trip flight and just see another country, because that's just not possible in the States. 3 of my favorite places I've ever been are Morocco, the Czech Republic, and Scotland. I know everyone thinks they're an excellent driver, but I generally do think I am. I always am told by people who drive with me that I don't drive too fast or too slow, and I've never had a ticket. My favorite cocktail is a mojito, but I never actually order it because I know bartenders kind of hate having to make them, so I always just feel too bad to actually ask for it. I have 20/20 vision, so luckily as of right now, I don't need contacts or glasses. I promise I'm not saying this to be a hipster, because I know a lot of people love this show, but I've tried to get into Friends so many times, and I just don't personally find it funny. However, in terms of comedies I do love, I would say my favorite of all time is probably Veep. I try so hard to get into exercising, but I just despise it so much, and I don't have a lot of motivation. So for those of you who are also in that same boat, please let me know, was there like a certain workout or exercise that you found yourself not totally hating, and did that get you into exercising? Because I need the help. I think some of my best qualities is that I think I'm really rational. It's not often that you'll ever find me lash out and only see, say, one side of an argument. And I think I have a pretty high degree of self-awareness, and that I'm super willing to accept if I'm wrong in a situation. I have just dry everything, super dry hair, super dry skin, dry sense of humor. Actually, not really. And if you have oily skin, I mean, I know grass is always greener on the other side, but a big plus for you is you're gonna have wrinkles a lot less sooner than I will. My favorite movie of all time is actually not a horror movie, it's a dark comedy, and that's In Bruges. Fantastic. If you haven't watched it, stop this video, watch it, and then come back. I think it's on Netflix unless they took it off. I'm quite tall. I'm 5'8.5" exactly, I think. And one thing I've learned as I got older, and I know this isn't the case for every single person, and I know this is not incredibly profound, but I found that you just care so much less what people think about you. And when I think back to when I was 14 and 16, I would never ever want to go back to those years, because thinking about the tiny things that concerned me about what other people thought about me that were so massive in my mind. So I have enjoyed that as my age has increased, my confidence has increased as well. I just finished the OA on Netflix. So good. Please go watch it right now. I mean, some of it is a little bit ridiculous, and some of the more straightforward aspects just don't make a lot of sense, but please go watch it if you haven't seen it. I've had pizza in New York City, in Chicago, in Italy, all those kind of pizza capitals of the world, but the best pizza I've ever had in my entire life is Alfredo's in Sioux City, Iowa. It's kind of really rare that I buy books, and it's not just in terms of book buying. I just kind of don't buy a lot of stuff in general, and that's not because I have the mentality of a minimalist. I'm just very cheap. In terms of making close friends or say picking a partner, I don't care what your political party is, I don't care what your religion is, anything like that, or your background. I just care that you're empathetic and you're not an asshole. I didn't tell 2 of my closest friends about YouTube for years, because when I met them I had just started, and at that point I didn't want to tell anyone, and then I got to the point where even when I was comfortable telling them, I hadn't for like 6 months or a year, and then I thought it would be too strange to tell them, because it was like I was hiding it from them, which I kind of was. But then one of my friends was looking up a review of You by Carolyn Kepnes and found my channel. And yes, it was 10 times more awkward than if I would have just stomached it and told them. If you guys have not seen the TV show Insecure on HBO, it's a new series. Watch it now, not just because the writing is great and it's funny, but because I am so attracted to every single male in that show. I know a lot of people really dislike the idea of sponsored videos on BookTube and sponsored book reviews, but so long as the person is honest and so long as sponsorships don't take over their channel and kind of sacrifice their creativity in terms of the types of videos they make, then I don't really have any issue with sponsorships. For my first 2 jobs, at first I was a farmer, particularly a peach farmer, and for my second job, which was very difficult, so much more difficult than I would have imagined, I was a maid at a hotel. This was when I think I was 17, and now I always leave a tip whenever I stay in a hotel. For my final fact, number 50, I don't know if any of you guys will be remotely interested in this or care at all. I understand if you don't, but I think I've talked about it in some videos and definitely a lot on Twitter. But I was interviewing for a job. I had about 8 or 9 interviews with this company. I got to meet all the other candidates for the position who are really smart and funny and nice. And so even though all the interviews went well, it was still super up in the air if I would get it. But I got the phone call yesterday that I got the job, so I am so excited. And interestingly, I'm going to be moving 3 times within the next 2 years just because that's the nature of the job. So let me know if you guys like moving vlogs or apartment decorating vlogs because there's going to be a lot of that. So that doesn't obviously start until June after I graduate, but I'm just so excited. I know a lot of my viewers are probably still in school, but it's just such a wonderful feeling to finally become employed. I mean, I've had like 8 jobs probably, but this is like the big job now that I finished school. So I hope you guys enjoyed that video. It felt weird just talking about myself for like 20 straight minutes, but hopefully this wasn't boring. I hope you guys have a wonderful Christmas holiday season if you celebrate, and I will see you guys in a couple days. Bye.